It's that time again. It's that time for, drum roll please, Seattle Connected, the show that connects you with entrepreneurs, business people, movers and shakers in our community, letting you know who they are first before they become household names, which we know they soon will be. But sometime they're already a household name, right? Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay. All right. Today's guest is the multi-talented. She is a Renaissance woman. She does everything with ease. She's here to make you believe and know that you can achieve any and everything you set your mind to. She's here to help you develop talents that you didn't know you had, but you have them, so why not use them? Please give it up for the award-winning, the beautiful, my friend, Miss Melany Bell.
Oh, David.
Yay! How was the intro?
That was good.
Was it good?
That was good. You embarrassed me a little bit.
Oh,
But
okay.
it wasn't too long.
That's good.
I appreciate that.
Hey, sometimes it's okay to be embarrassed in a good way, right?
In a good way. Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, you're all dazzled up, looking good, man.
You know, this is one of my favorite new buys. I got it this year.
Okay, looks nice.
I'm really excited about it.
Looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
It looks good. I see you coordinated.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going with my Seattle colors today.
Yes,
Blue and
come
green.
on.
Just repping, sports season.
You have
fan
to.
Season.
Come on now. And you're a Washington native, right?
I am.
Because for whatever reason, I was thinking that you were from California.
Well, I lived in LA for, I want to say 7 years.
Right.
And a lot of, people kind of know me from that era when I was based in LA. But I've lived a bunch of different places. I am from Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I am a homer.
Mm.
I am born and raised Beacon Hill, Spokane Ave. Stop playing with me. This is my city,
Yes.
That kind of
Yeah,
how people feel about Brooklyn. That's
what
how I feel about Seattle.
Okay, yes, I like that.
Right.
I like that. Come on now. So you lived on the East Coast before?
I have. I went to school in New York.
Wow, you're like everywhere. No, I was supposed to. Never mind.
What?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
That's one of the biggest things I wish I would have done. I should have taken advantage. I had an opportunity, my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a lot older, but
Nobody can tell. Be quiet.
well, thank you. But yeah, but I visited several times. It's amazing. There's nothing like home, but
Yeah.
I had a blast, and hopefully one day I can go back out there.
What parts did you go to?
Oh, Brooklyn, Harlem,
Yeah.
and did I go to Queens? The Bronx.
Nice.
Yeah.
I lived in Harlem.
Okay.
Before Bill Gates, not Bill Gates, President Clinton lived there. Or
Yeah.
he put his offices there like the year I moved out.
Okay. Yeah. How was it?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like living in history, like in a historic moment that you didn't know you could time travel to.
Yeah.
Because, there's so many songs and movies and everything about New York.
Just the culture.
Yeah. So it was like living through all those songs and
That's cool.
whatnot. Yeah.
So, Miss Melany,
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. So serious.
What?
Have you always been involved in the arts? And the reason why I asked that is because I remember hearing your name for quite some time before we even met. Like, just, like when you can hear somebody's name or you see it on a flyer or a poster and you don't know that person, but then when someone mentions that person, you're like, I think I know them. I've heard Melany Bell quite some time. I'm talking like 20 years or so. Have you, like locally, have you always been involved in the arts or?
As an adult, yes.
Okay.
As soon as I got out of high school, I was like in bands. I was a professional actor. I was singing, dancing, doing all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
So that was like, as soon as I, what do you think, crossed the threshold of adulthood, I was doing it professionally. And it was sort of, my mom's concert pianist, I guess you would call him, because she played, classical music, Chopin, Bach, all of that stuff, Beethoven, when we were growing up, and she was always on the piano.
Right.
And so I think that affected us too in utero. But my dad's a pastor, so for my part, that's improv.
Yeah.
That's an improvisational actor who's also a scriptwriter, who's also a director, who's also, an inspirational speaker. So I think it was just kind of in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in like 4 choirs by the time I got out of high school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Nerd.
Yeah.
Total
You-
nerd.
Yeah.
Blurred.
Yeah. No, that's not being a nerd. Come on.
Okay, blurred.
Yeah.
Did you hear me say blurred?
Blurred.
That's one of my favorite words. Sorry.
Blurred. What's
Blurred.
that?
Black nerd.
Black nerd.
Yeah.
Ooh. Please copyright that. Come
It's
on
already
now.
copywritten. It's
Oh,
already, I thought of that,
son of a-
and I know that brilliant young man that did it, though. You can find him on YouTube.
You got to come up with something else then.
Okay.
But don't tell people right
No,
now
exactly. Shh,
until
don't
you
tell
lock it
anybody.
down. Until you lock it down. Yes.
Yeah.
So you were always in the arts. You were in 4 choirs.
Yeah.
Did you release any music?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
look at you.
Yeah, you might know my cousin Darius, who's also from Seattle, Darius Woolrich. He
Woolrich.
plays with. He's for years put out his own albums, but now
Yeah.
he's playing with Diggable Planets, going all over the world.
Yeah.
And he and I have done some music together. I did music with my partner for about 7 years in
Okay.
LA.
Wow.
I had 2 main musical partners, Justin Andreas, and then my husband, Kevin Sandblom, and we maybe did 4 albums together in one album. But as far as other folks, I can't even count how many studio sessions I've done, been on other folks' albums and backup music, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know Darius. I've been trying to get Darius on. You can,
You want
yeah.
me to poke
You
him?
need to hit him up. Yeah, because Darius, another person, we were recording at the same studio, and it would always be like I just missed him. Like, say, like, seriously, like my session could be at 5 at night and his just ended at 4:30.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I know he also plays piano and everything. And yeah, see, I'm not just.
Yeah. No, you know Darius.
Shout out
is-
to Darius. Yeah, very talented. Okay, so we did the music thing. Then you moved into acting. Lights, camera, action. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Was that hard? Because I know you have that gene where it was like, okay, your father was a pastor,
Yeah.
your mother is in the arts, and a lot of those talents are natural. At the same time, you can always develop them even more.
Yes.
So being an actor, was that hard to go from music to acting, or was it kind of just like a normal phase of like,
That is an interesting question. Thank you for asking. But I think it is kind of acting when you're singing. You know how musicals, the emotion gets so strong that they just bust out in a song, right?
Yeah.
Then you're at the height of the denouement. You're at the height of the emotion when you're singing all the time. So you're always in touch with that aspect of yourself, your
Right.
emotional life, which for many people, it's really hard. They go through lots of therapy to tap into their emotional center and where they feel, how they feel, what triggers them, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So because I was doing music and always really attached to the song, from jazz to classical to folk music to gospel. I was in a gospel choir, of course, my father being a pastor. But yeah, we really do act through the music. So it was an easier transition than you'd think. Once I got into like super technical language, when I went to conservatory, I went to SUNY Purchase College of the Arts in New York. And at the time, Israel Hicks was the dean there. But he was sort of reframing what conservatory actor training was and theater training was, and we weren't doing so much musical theater. We were doing more straight up dramatic Shakespearean, the Three Penny Opera. I think we did some Greek stuff, the Trojan Women. But yeah, he really wanted us to have great actor chops. He thought that was missing, that lots of folks had good musical talents.
Okay.
But they weren't that great at acting anymore.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he was on a mission to just improve the acting, yeah.
Okay. So how long did you do that for?
Conservatory? It's
Yeah.
a 4-year training program, yeah.
And then you were done after that?
No, I continued to train. I was training at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival as one of their professional actors, but they have, master's level classes there
Yeah.
all year round for the actors to partake in. So I took speech and voice, all the same stuff almost that I was taking from script analysis to speech and voice and movement courses. I was able to take at a mastery level at Oregon Shakespeare Festival while working.
Yeah.
So it was just a dream come. It was a dream job right out of college.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah, I know.
Man, you lived the life of someone who was like 65 when you were like 24. Man, shh. Quiet. Why are we whispering? I don't know. Why are we whispering?
Why are we whispering? No, it was really really fun to be that engaged in your profession as soon as you get out of university.
Yeah.
Who gets to do that? I'm like taking classes. I'm on stage. I was doing like 16 different understudies my first year at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival.
Yeah.
I was teaching
Paying
there.
your dues.
Yeah, really, I did really pay my theater dues, and the chops that you get from working at like rotating repertory theater where you're on stage all day. You're either in rehearsal or you're in a performance, right?
Yeah.
It was just the best. Was it John Coltrane that said you need like 10,000 hours of rehearsal in something
Yeah.
in order to get good at? And that's how I got my 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Was that conservatory training right to a major rotating repertory theater?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, you went on to teaching. Were you? Yeah, you were teaching,
I was
right?
teaching there at the Shakespeare Festival. I taught on the road. I was in Reno, Nevada for a couple months. Me and my partner, we taught at every public school in Reno, Nevada, and Sacramento, California.
Wow.
Every single public school.
Golly.
Yeah, it was grueling. You're up at 5 a.m. to do a workshop at 6, and then you perform at 8 in the gymnasium in front of sometimes 2,000, 3,000 students. And from kindergarten to college level, we were teaching folks poetry, iambic pentameter, all of that. But it was grueling.
Yeah.
But again, paying your dues, man.
Yeah.
Getting those reps in.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
I think that's important to not expect to go from 0 to 60. In that way, I think you enjoy the journey more.
Yeah.
And you can kind of appreciate what you've gone through and where you've come, and it kind of makes you look forward to the next chapter in that journey. Maybe that's just me, but I know we live in a world of everything's so instant now that we want to decide, all right, I want to be an actor, but right now I want to be in a big blockbuster and I want a headline and this and that, and
you got to get that wax on, wax off.
Yes,
Mr. Miyagi training you bit by bit.
Right.
Excuse me. Oops.
Yeah.
I didn't mess up my mic. But yeah, that's what all that school tours and traveling and doing musical tours and doing it every single day. Going from Shakespeare to Shanghai, to Zaki Shanghai.
Yeah.
For Colored Girls, do that range of, if you're doing poetic language, if you're doing whatever you're doing, do it all the way.
Right. Huh. What was your favorite play that you wrote or you starred in?
Believe it or not, the favorite play that I wrote, I will be doing at the Genius Conference.
The Genius Conference.
Yeah, I'm
Come
just
on.
going to give a quick plug for the
Please
Genius
do.
Conference.
Yes, show.
June 7th and 8th, the African American Writers Alliance.
Yes.
Partnership with Langston, Seattle.
Preach.
And the favorite play that I was hired to do, not one that I wrote, is literally Uterine Files. And Jordan Imani Keith is doing that at Langston the month before into June 2nd, May 25th till June 2nd. So Uterine Files, oh my God, it's so brilliant.
Yeah.
I won't go into it now. I know, I'm sorry.
No.
Ridiculous, shameless plugs.
I appreciate it. Come on. That's what you're here for.
But
Go.
Uterine
Let's
Files,
go.
It's so great. And Jordan is from Seattle too.
Yeah.
Jordan Imani Keith, she's an incredible, she was our civic poet.
Yeah.
She's going to be at the Genius Conference June 7th and 8th. And she's just an extraordinary mind. She's brilliant, like Octavia Butler.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
She does like Afrofuturism.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. What are those dates again? Come on. We
Well,
love a shameless plug.
the Genius Conference is June 7th and 8th.
June 7th and
11
8th.
a.m. to 6 p.m. PDT. That's Pacific, West Coast.
Yeah. West
Time. We will have an after party on the 8th, so please come. Debrina Jackson Gandhi, the best-selling author on Oprah, etc., is going to be our keynote on the first day. Again, Jordy Montekeith will be there both days. Isis Asari from Sister Sci-Fi. Those folks for Afrofuturism are actually, thanks to Seattle Public Library's Seattle Reads program, they're doing Parable of the Sower this year, an Octavia Butler piece. So they asked that if we could specifically speak on Afrofuturism. They were like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding? We've got 2 Afrofuturists
Come on now.
in our group
Preach.
that have written over 8-9 books. So it's an extraordinary accomplishment. It's not my accomplishment. The African American Writers Alliance has been around for 33 years.
Yeah.
I've known about them since I was little and used to go see them at Elliott Bay.
Yeah.
But Dr. McDade is just a legend.
Yeah.
She's like, who's the guy in the wheelchair in the X-Men?
Professor X?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Professor, she's like that. She's
Okay.
She's not in a wheelchair. She's totally.
But I got you.
Right. But
Yeah.
she's just like so serious, and she can spot the person that's gonna next publish their book and who's got the next superpower.
That's a gift.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Well, you can't just breeze over it. African American Writers Alliance. Do tell. Come on now.
Oh, it's sort of embarrassing. Okay, so I'm the chair of the African American Writers Alliance. People begged me to just step up and
You're the what?
help the chair.
Okay.
The board chair. And
Yes.
we're having a great time planning this. But you know how when people are really passionate, they're super excited. People are just like, no, we have to get so-and-so. Oh, we have to get... It's so fun. It's like we're planning to do Black Panther.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coordinating
That's
this
cool.
thing. But yeah, the Genius Conference, that was a title that we all agreed on because our elders that created this legacy literacy organization are extraordinary, from Minnie Collins and Margaret Barry and Gaylord Sisson. They're all retired and they've been holding it down for us youngins to have like authorship, a writer's collective. It's so important to be literate.
Yeah.
Because you probably know that illiteracy is the number 1 causal factor to incarceration in the United States. So being literate literally gets you out of jail free, right? In so many ways. So reading and literacy are a matter of life and death, from a stop sign to a will and testament, right? All of those things require that you be literate. And then when we look at the mental health crisis that we're facing, in King County here, they announced racism as a public health crisis last year and are putting funding toward it. It's not just an announcement, it's a good thing. But when we're dealing with a public health crisis that is compounded on years of oppression, from old Jim Crow to the Michelle Alexander new Jim Crow, we absolutely have to take what's given, that small little thing like literacy, and use it as that it's the kryptonite of bad behavior, I think. Or at least unuseful behavior. I don't know about bad behavior, but unuseful behavior. And it's why hip-hop is such a popular art form. It is the classic art form in the world, the spoken and written word. And to be able to manipulate is not the right word, but massage and stretch our imaginations to elevate our understanding of one another is what is deep empathy. So hip hop right now is the highest selling music form, in the world. And so even Beyonce became a hip hop, over her career. She's gone from neo soul to R&B to now she's hip hop and country western. But these are language-based. These are literacy-based. These are empathy-based. These are spinning yarns, telling tales, the figures and forms of language that are the code to the human imagination. They get us thinking differently and innovating and inventing. And so when you can do it at the level of, say somebody like Kendrick Lamar, right?
Yeah.
Where they're just putting out album after album after
Mm-hmm.
album. They won a Pulitzer Prize, a literary award for their work.
Yeah.
So it's just that important,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
Especially if you look at the journeys that folks who were illiterate, my father included, who was illiterate, went from illiterate, incarcerated all the time, started reading in jail, very much like Malcolm X, and got himself out of prison and the prison industrial systems by reading until he had a master's degree and a degree in education, and all of his daughters went to college, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a lot. I had a lot to say about literacy.
Yeah. No, that was good. But it was important, and that was good. And I had a teacher tell me before that good writers are good readers, and good readers are good writers.
Yes.
And when it comes to that, as far as you being a writer yourself, is it hard for you to write? Like, anyone can write, but I think sometimes you don't try to write, it just happens. Like, you can literally pick up a pen, or some people only write in their phone. I'm not that guy. I'm old school.
Pen and paper.
Yeah, I like to jot it down. It's just the feel of it.
Yeah.
Do you really have to think about what you're gonna write, or sometimes does it just flow? Like, you're like, all right, something comes to mind, and then you end up just going or going in a direction that you weren't planning on, but your heart is just compelled you to,
And you ask this phenomenal question because you are an artist yourself, and your music it's coming from the non-physical. It's coming from some space you don't even know where it's coming from. You are called.
Yeah.
Your spirit, your
Yeah.
energy, everything in you is called to grab that pen, to grab your phone, and do whatever it is. And I don't think that's an accident, David. I don't think that's an accident. And if you look at our practice, right, our daily practice, you and I both have a regimen that we do every single day, and it continues to grow slowly but surely, steady on its way our whole life. And now here we are, professional authors, and you've got a podcast. You do more than this, I'm sure, besides your hip hop career. That's phenomenal, by the way. It feeds into everything else you do. In other words, when you tap in to that larger consciousness system, to what else do we call it? Well, God. People call it God. People call it source. People call it the creative inspiration, right? When you tap into that, it's unlimited, first of all, and there's nothing you cannot do in that space, but you have to have the practice to let it kind of flow through you and not get in its way. So yeah, it is a spiritual experience. What's your process like? Do you have to be in a sunny room? No. It just hits you. You just
And I've learned as a writer, I never force anything.
Yeah.
I've learned that some of my best pieces came when I was just not at the best place.
Yeah.
And it was easy for me to just let it out. It was like I truly mean it's a form of therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm all for, whatever someone needs to do to preserve their mental and emotional health.
Yeah.
For me, writing would be therapeutic, and I wouldn't have to think about it, and it would just happen. And there's times when I would go back later and look at something I wrote and say, wow, and I kind of get excited, and I'm reading this for the first time. Because sometimes I'll write just to write. I'm not like, all right, I'm gonna make this piece and then I'm gonna share it and then I'm gonna do this and that. It's just something that I need to do. You know how some people they have OCD, right?
Yeah.
And they'll end up cleaning stuff that's already clean. Just the motion of, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like you're just rubbing a hole in the glass now at this point. But sometime I would write just to let me get this out.
Yeah.
And then I can not touch it for months. Come back and say, wow, you know what, I'm going to add on to that, or I'm going to leave it as is. I've learned that when you don't force something in life and you let things happen the way they're supposed to, the results are usually better. I've learned that because I've
Check.
learned, you know,
Guru phrase for the day,
yeah,
right?
no,
Okay, love it. Thank you. Thank
uh,
you for that.
you
Yes.
know, I'm serious. Like, you think about all the youth that are being these young creatives, and they're finding their niche and what they want to do, and they're as happy as can be. And who are we to tell them that that's wrong? You know,
Wow.
if I see someone who's not assaulting people, or
Yeah.
you know, or something crazy, do you? You know, I speak to the youth, and I always tell them, I said, look, whatever you want to do, you're enjoying it. Psh, you know, who am I to try to direct you in what you should do with your life? That's your life, and
Do
you
it
only
till you're
have one.
satisfied. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's positive, hey, whatever I can do to help you. But
Yeah.
when you just let things happen naturally, I think it just comes out better that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you're in the kitchen and you're like, the recipe says this, but I'm gonna add a little bit of extra sugar. Or I'm gonna add some brown
A
sugar.
little salt.
Yeah,
A
you know what I'm
little
saying?
cinnamon. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to brown sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to brown sugar.
Yeah.
I love brown sugar.
Yes. Come on now. Yes. Black man, brown sugar. All right. But sorry, I'm just talking
no.
your ear off, and
No.
this is about you. But just
But that
letting
is so
something be
important.
organic
Yeah,
and just
exactly the natural, and this is like, again, getting in resonance with that larger consciousness, with source energy.
yeah.
That, whatever we think that is, in my opinion, these are just, my opinions, I don't want to squash anybody else's belief system, but whatever we think that, amorphous and infinite thing is, it can't possibly have time to be petty. You know what I mean? Not that petty. That's like, look, if you look at the map of the mind of God us, right? And you see all the space in between. That's a lot of free, open thinking space.
Yeah.
And then there's a little star, a couple million miles from that star, a couple million miles from that sun. So it's out there creating, constantly being creative, and not letting anything get in its way, not being disturbed too much by anything. And that's our soul.
Yeah.
Where we're at, our natural state of being is not that bothered. Everything's going to work out. Everything goes on infinitely. There is no, what we think of as a final answer, right? Nobody's ever finally right or wrong. We're all learning and growing toward infinity constantly, and it will never stop. So that process of authorship requires that you get into that state. Like you said, let it occur. It's gonna come. You just, what do they say? Wait on Jesus.
Yeah.
You gotta wait on the Lord. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So is it hard for you as a writer to, or not hard, but what is the transition like from you being an actor,
Mm-hmm.
writing, and then kind of playing the background and seeing other actors and seeing them dig inside and see how they can kind of project this energy into this character that was written? Or do you like let other actors kind of do their thing, or you're like, nah, this isn't how it was written, or I would do this differently?
When I'm directing, I try to like have the open space for creation, and then form that creative mass into something that is sort of agreed upon by those incredibly intelligent actors that I've hired. When I'm acting, yes, you definitely leave other actors alone. You do not get in their space or tell them what to do or how to act. But you can, in the same way, when you're playing chess, you can sort of force a move on someone, right? And when you're acting, if you give someone, like, I'll just tell you about the characters that I'm playing in Uterine Files, and she's very young, but she gets older too, because really traumatic things have occurred to her. And if you can force someone into a space by how you're acting and they have a reaction and they can't help but have a reaction to what you're doing, that's the whole chemical process of life. That's what's going on in the air right now, creating all of life that we're breathing in, right? That we can't think without. There's information in that.
Yeah.
But when I think about how that affects you as an actor, that we're sort of martial arts, that's what it is. It's kind of like martial arts where you're moving energy. Emotion is energy, right? And even the thought of I'm going to move my arm is an energetic impulse, a neurological impulse that has to occur. So when you're sort of wielding energy, marshaling the energy that you're in control of, and then tossing it to someone, you get, it's the same thing like when you're dancing, when you're playing sports with someone. Yeah, it's like you said, it's better when you let it happen organically.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I got a question for you.
What?
How do you feel about censorship, cancel culture,
Oh my Lord, yeah.
like certain books being banned, you know, critical race theory? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, thank you, Nicole Hannah-Jones. Thank you. God bless you, girl. And Michelle Alexander, thank you. And, Ava DuVernay, you doing your thing. Okay. Thank you for asking that question. And I have a feeling because you're in media that you have personal opinions, right? About freedom of speech. But what I always forget is that freedom of speech is for the people I disagree with. It is there as a law in our country to help those that I disagree with still have a voice.
Right.
Yeah. So it hurts, freedom of speech. It's not easy. It's not this happy-go-lucky, yay, we have freedom of speech in America. It's this, I have to listen to everything I disagree with and give it validity and find a solution and bridge a gap between my understanding and what that other person is saying. Because my dad, for my part, if you want to go Republican against Democrat, right? My dad's a Republican. He's a full-on Trump supporter. You know what I mean? And I have to be able to see the life that man lived, right? And what he went through and what he means when he says, I can't have an immigrant in this country, right? And this is, I'll just go off on a side note really quick. If we're talking about immigration, just a general immigration for all the races, all the masses, and he says, no, you know why? Because the new Jim Crow already occurred. And I, as a black man who was a product of chattel slavery in this country, I deserve my piece of the pie first. I was here first. And when I heard my dad say it like that, because I'm like, no, free Palestine, let all the immigrants in, I'm like this big raging liberal as a child. And my father's like, you're out of your mind. And he would always bring up the counter argument. And I'd say, this is not easy. We are complex as individuals, as human beings. Our reasons are not one note or one-sided. On any of the sides, there's more than two sides to the side, right? So freedom of speech, go for it. It's painful though.
Yeah and I think that, like you were saying, there is no like one way, there is no answer to everything, and I just think that there needs to be more fairness. Like, if no matter what party you support, if we're talking about politics or whatever your beliefs are, that's cool. But just like you have your beliefs, I have my beliefs.
Yes.
So it shouldn't be, well, let's shut you up because I don't agree, but I should be able to say everything that I want to say. Preach, and I feel this David. Way and that. Well, thank you.
Yes.
And I think it's just like a respect thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we don't have to agree, we're not at war, fighting in the street, but I don't have to like what you're saying, but I respect that's how you feel.
Yeah.
Respect how I feel. We have so much going on in this country that it's just getting stupid right now, where it's like, oh, well, you like this person, well, you must be, and this and that.
Right.
It's like, we don't have time for that.
We don't.
I know I don't. I really don't. There's a lot of things that I hear said by different parties, different races, whatever, different age brackets that I don't agree with, but I'm like, hey, that's them. That's their life.
That's their.
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
And so, as far as like censorship goes and council culture, I think it's like all or nothing. We can't say, well, I agree with this person, so yeah, that's good, but let's cancel all these books that talk about your history and you being a hero. Well, let's not talk about any heroes then.
Right.
We can't leave out people that have made and helped shape this country to what it is.
Yeah.
Because there's not just one hero. There's not just one villain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
Come on, Melany. Let's go. Yeah.
Are we gonna, you have protest signs? Are we going out in the streets right now?
Let's make them.
Okay,
Let's do
let's
it.
go.
Yeah, we'll create our own
But
party.
you're so right about that. Like,
Yeah.
You have to be able to listen. Empathy is one of the highest markers for good mental health. When you are an empathetic person, you're actually mentally healthy.
Yes.
In other words, if I can hear somebody else's opinion and it not twist me, oh, my panties are in a bunch, and I got upset. Your opinion, must not be very scientific. One, if you're all emotional about it, right, and you don't have a way to defend it, if, for lack of a better word, but again, it's like the cream on top of this country is freedom of speech. It's one of those rare things that people didn't get to do in many, many other countries. If you were in a particular caste, if you were ... And I've said, if I can actually say, call a cop a pig or something like that, because I have the freedom to do it, and all the things that we've been hearing.
Because you've never done that.
No,
right?
I've never. No, but like F the police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
There are
right.
so many things in this country.
Right.
One of our greatest resources, I think, is freedom of speech. It's, although we have some of the exact same problems as any dictatorship or any dominating culture that it forces folks to do a particular thing, we still get to have our say, and it does, little by little, change things.
Okay, now going back to you being the multi-talented at everything that you do.
All praises to you.
There you go. Melody, do you ever find yourself having to censor yourself when you're writing?
I unfortunately censor myself too much. I don't put a lot of curse words in my word,
no. I not to cut you off.
But no, go ahead, please.
Because I'm not saying like, all right, now correct me if I'm wrong. You might, now I don't know if you try not to use curse, so you're like, oh, I want to say that, but I can't say that. But I'm saying, do you ever write and say, well, I can't write this because I don't want to offend this person. I don't want to offend this person. I don't want my auntie to. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
You do that?
I do.
Okay. All right.
It's one of the reasons why I write short stories. Because the further I get into a story, the more I'm using the people in my life, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna recognize this.
Yeah,
They're gonna know it's them, even if I change the name.
Yeah, right.
So I've more recently, because I'm in a writers collective, the African American Writers Alliance, AAWA-Seattle.org.
Yes.
Because I'm in a writers collective, they sort of push you out of your comfort zone.
Okay.
And they force you to not do that, to speak your mind. So I'm lucky in that sense.
Okay.
But my whole life I've been editing based on offending people.
Yeah.
And getting canceled.
Yeah. Huh.
So we're not having real conversations. In my opinion, because you're not having a real conversation based on your truth, because you're always editing your truth, we're not ever really solving the problem.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Yeah.
So that's just how I see it. But go ahead.
Okay. No, you go ahead. Melany
I
Bell.
have nothing else to say. I'm a very boring person.
That's not true. Now, that was
I
just a lie.
rarely think about anything.
At least you didn't look at me and lie. Yeah, that's a lie. Melany.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you a question that I have not asked any of my other guests.
Oh,
I would like for you to just answer it open and honestly.
okay.
How would you describe the person that is Melany Bell to someone who has never met you?
Oh, wow, that's a great question.
Doesn't have to be one word.
Oh, good. How would I describe myself to someone who's never met me?
Yes. So here we go, right? All right, let's do it like this. Hey, you know who Melany Bell is? I was trying to tell one of my friends about her. Yeah, you've known her longer than I have. How would you describe Melany Bell?
I know her. She's a little bit of everything, kind of like everybody. She enjoys comedy and writing and music. I know those things about her. She's a big fan of food. Her email address is even food is first. She does everything she can to support and uplift everyone she can, and then leaves the rest to everybody else. Tries not to worry too much. I like her. I mean, she's not perfect, but I like her.
Yeah. I like that.
She's a nutritionist. She's, I mean, like, what else do you want to know about her?
Wow. She's an amazing person. Yeah. Is she easy to get along with?
It depends on who you are, I think.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. It probably depends on who you are. I think I had a girlfriend that went and started a dance company in Dubai. And she's the perfect person for it because she already acted like a Muslim person, and particularly a Muslim woman in hijab. And she always wore very baggy clothes, like down to her ankles, and you know what I mean? So when they saw her, they were like, "Wow, dancing is illegal. Yes, you can start a dance company, because we trust you,
Yeah.
your personality." And when I look at someone like that, as opposed to myself, who has lived, I saw Madame Curie and Josephine Baker, and these are old people, right? Anais Nin. These are old. They're dead and gone. These are 100-year-old idols, that I
Wow,
had.
you saw Josephine Baker?
Well, on TV and stuff.
Oh.
But I had these dreams of,
Yeah.
look at that lady that's
Yeah.
old enough to be my great grandma.
Yeah.
If I act like her, that should be appropriate enough, right? No, it's still not appropriate for apparently women. We got our rights taken away in most of the states of the United States. And we got our reproductive rights taken away, which is the right to own your body. It's a form of slavery to tell women that they can't do what they want with their body.
Yeah.
So when I look at that and that life versus, like, the Muslim, the woman in hijab, I'm like, well, this is balance. This is what has been created by the infinite itself. If you really understand what the infinite is and you're constantly in conversation with that, it keeps telling you, oh, there's more. Oh, I've got another type of person
Right.
you're going to be mad at first, and then you're going to get used to them after 100 years or more.
Well, Miss Melany Bell,
Yes, sir.
you're awesome.
Thank you.
I thank you for taking time for my small platform and
Thank you for
just
asking me.
just and being a good person. That's why I really enjoyed, every time we've been able to talk and just be in each other's presence. I can tell you're a genuine person and the love is there. And I just appreciate everything you're doing and how you treat not only yourself, but others. And it's a reflection of how you treat yourself, right? How you treat others. It should be.
Yeah.
And I want you to keep going because your spirit is it's like infectious, or it's like right when you came in the room, it was like I could feel like, wow, it's like a family reunion, And you're honest, and not that I'm honest. I'm gonna tell you what, how some people are, but you're honest without being disrespectful.
Right.
And I think we could have I think we could have 2, 3, 4, 5 hour conversations and still have more to talk about. But before you go, one more time, can you please let people know what you got going on? Let them know so they can be down and stay connected.
The Genius Conference, it's happening at Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute, June 7th and 8th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. after party on the 8th. Please come. Afrofuturism talks. It's all free. Oh, it's free and open to the public. Did I not say that? Free food, free workshops. It's going to be great. It's unbelievable, the lineup that we've got. And also Uterine Files, May 25th. to June 2nd. Also at Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute.
And let people know how they can get in contact with you.
You can get in contact with me at melanyBell.org. melanyBell.org.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
African American Writers Alliance. And I would like to tell the people at home, Miss Melany has scored some more points because, like I always say, I'm not against gifts. Please. It doesn't have to be my birthday, July 14th. It doesn't have to be my birthday, but she gave me these amazing gifts and a few other things in the bag. So you guys got to step your game up. But I encourage you to go to this young lady's website. Stay on her Instagram, just pick her brain, say hi, we got to support each other, right? If not, who's going to do it? So thank you, Melany, for being here.
David.
Of course, keep me in your prayers, man.
Will do. You
and
too.
You guys at home, thank you for watching. You guys are the reason why I have the best show online. And like I always say, it's important to take care of others, but please make sure you take time to take care of yourself. Until next time, stay connected. Peace.